Okay. My name is David, my partner is Mark, and today we're going to be arguing that staff in K-12 public schools should be allowed to keep handguns at their work locations. Within this proposition we have several claims. The first is an inherency claim, which is the current system does not adequately protect the children of the United States. A significance claim, which is the public feels this is a significant problem, therefore it should be taken into account. And a solvency claim that there is concern that allowing guns in schools would cause more violence, yet there is precedent that the system does not increase problems and sufficient training would be part of the implementation. We also have another solvency claim, which is that it will deter students from causing future tragedies. My first argument is the current system does not adequately protect the children. If you look at the number of school shootings since 1980, there's been 297 victims, 27 at Sandy Hook last year, 32 at Virginia Tech a few years back, obviously probably the first one that really hit the mainstream news, Columbine, where 13 were killed. However, while for every school shooting that hits the news, there's dozens more that don't. There's several every month. So far in 2013, there's been 8. This is according to school shooting statistics through the Brain Research Institute, which kind of tracks this kind of information. Therefore, it's not an isolated situation. School shootings are serious. If the system was working, they wouldn't be occurring. Secondly, we also were realizing that the number of non-fatal victimizations occurs. Those are the ones that also don't hit the news. There were 828,000 incidents of school violence last year, and that's among students 12 to 18 years of age. 7% of teachers report that they have been threatened or physically attacked by a student, and this is according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. This is a big deal also because the fact that teachers are feeling intimidated, that means that they're obviously not comfortable. If they had some type of protection, if they were allowed to carry according to the rights that the Constitution provides, maybe they wouldn't feel so nervous, and obviously that fosters a better learning environment. Within the classroom, we also have reports that 5.4% of students reported carrying a weapon within 30 days of being surveyed. That's an interesting statistic because I honestly don't believe that every student is going to admit that. So while 5% admit it, you have to wonder whether that number is much higher. And that kind of goes into this idea of intimidation, of bullying, and things like that. If these students were aware that there were possible consequences if they were to act upon, bringing a gun, maybe they wouldn't be so much prone to doing so. That's another issue that we think should also be taken into account. And then another interesting point is that when it comes to homicide, that's the second leading cause of death among people under 18 years old. 2% of these deaths occur within school grounds. That's obviously not a high number, but that number is still higher than it should be. A school is the last place someone should die, and that's our point of view. And once again, if guns were allowed within schools, within the current proper training and everything, that could really help the environment in terms of school safety. Which goes into this idea of the public feeling this is a significant problem. According to some research that I've found, 64% of parents feel that having armed guards at school would be something they would be interested in. When we're talking putting guns in schools, we're not talking just teachers, we're talking any designated faculty. That could be school guards, that could be anyone that the school feels has taken the proper training and could therefore act if needed. This is evidence provided by a Pew Research Group, so that's a survey that they took. Let's see. Okay, one of the biggest issues when you start talking about guns being brought into schools is training. Do we foster a more dangerous environment because there's guns in schools? However, what's interesting is not many people know that 18 states currently allow guns in schools. Most of these states, every state has different guidelines, but most of these states it's just provided written permission that the principal, that the school district knows, okay, this person has a concealed and carry permit, therefore they have the right to own a gun. There's no reports of teachers or guards being overthrown by students. I've looked at tons of the school shootings, and pretty much all of them are because a kid brings a gun to school, whether that's because they have access to the gun because of their parents or whatever reason. The thing is, that's what's happening is the kids are not overthrowing them. You look at Sandy Hook, you look at Virginia Tech, just because of guns in a school doesn't mean that there's more problems. Let's see. Okay, another interesting point is the NRA School Shield Safety Program. They're obviously, the NRA is the National Rifle Association. That's going to be a lobbyist group. However, they have a pretty good program implemented in states where it's needed, and they're wanting to, branch it out into a federal thing. What they're saying is that the adoption of a model training program would allow teachers and other employees to carry firearms with proper training. In this particular program, they're talking about 40 to 60 hours of training to ensure that the people that are carrying guns, whether that's a teacher, whether that's a principal, they're ensuring that these people are properly trained, that they're not going to make mistakes. Anyone that's fired a gun knows that as long as you're safe with it, as long as you handle accordingly, there's certain procedures in place to make sure accidents don't happen. If you do that, there's no problems with guns. They're not inherently bad, which is one of the themes that we see in this argument. That 40 to 60 hour comprehensive gun safety program, that was introduced by a former House Representative, Hutchinson. And once again, we're not asking that we provide guns to untrained individuals. That's not the call to arms that we're trying to make. What we're trying to say is that by allowing guns in schools with proper safety, you're allowing future tragedies from not occurring. And like we saw last year, like we've seen in the previous tragedies that I brought up, that's something that's important. Once again, gun sales are at an all-time high, and the current homicide rate is way lower than it's ever been, 4.8%, while it was at nearly 13% in 1993. So I mean, this is something where guns are not inherently bad. That's according to an article published by the Sacramento Bee, those statistics. And the fact that gun fatalities have decreased while gun sales have nearly doubled from 600,000 to 350,000 to 600,000. It means that as long as gun safety is there, we're good to go. So once again, our main claim is that K-12 public schools employees should allow guns if needed. Thank you.